Yeah, g'day.
That's really becoming annoying. Hi there. Just thought I'd give you a little bit more information on the course I'm teaching at OCON this summer, a course titled The Stuarts and The Puritans, a look at English political history from 1603 to 1685. If you've seen any of the other videos, you might be wondering how it was that the Stuarts came to take the English throne. The Stuarts, a Scottish royal family. Well, I thought what I'd do today is to explain how that happened, and to do that we're going to have to go all the way back to the 15th century, right back to the origins of the previous dynasty, the Tudors. So, here we go, let's have a look. The Tudor dynasty began when Henry VII took the English throne at the end of the Wars of the Roses. Henry Tudor at that point ceased to be Henry Tudor and became Henry VII, who ruled England from 1485 to 1509. Now, part of what he did to end the Wars of the Roses was that he, a Lancastrian, married a woman from the opposing house, the Yorkists, and that woman was Elizabeth York. Now, they had several children, only two of whom actually concern us in this matter. The first of them you've probably never heard of was their eldest daughter, Margaret. Now, I put her on the map there, but we're going to step away from her for a moment. We'll come back later. Well, let's look at the person who actually succeeded Henry VII, his second son, a fellow you may have heard of, a guy by the name of Henry VIII. He of all the wives, of course. Now, Henry VIII ruled over a very important time in English history and was succeeded by no less than three of his own children. Firstly, Edward VI, then his half-sister, Mary I, you know as Bloody Mary, and then her half-sister, Elizabeth I. Now, for a variety of reasons, none of these three had any children of their own. And so there was no further Tudor heir to take the throne when Elizabeth died. Problem that concerned Elizabeth throughout her reign. To find an heir, she had to go all the way back up the family tree to find someone related to her who wasn't a Catholic, who'd be a suitable monarch for England. And that story begins with Margaret and her first husband, King James IV of Scotland. Now, they had a son who went on to become King of Scotland, King James V. He married a rather fiery French lady by the name of Mary of Guise, and James V was succeeded by their even more fiery daughter. You've probably heard of her, Mary, Queen of Scots. Now, to find her husband, we have to return to Margaret Tudor, whose second husband was a guy by the name of Archibald Douglas. They had a daughter whose name was Margaret. We don't need to know her husband, but that union produced a son by the name of Henry Stuart, Lord Darnley, and it's at this point that the name Stuart enters the family tree. Henry and Mary, cousins, married. Not uncommon for royal people at any time. This union produced a son, a little boy by the name of James. Now, Mary wasn't too popular with the Scots at the time, and so they deposed her in place of her 9-month-old son, James. At that point, James VI became James VI became King of Scotland, who was reigning over Scotland at the time of Elizabeth I's reign. When she was approaching her death and seeking a solution to the succession problem, Elizabeth looked no further than north of the border to find her cousin, James VI, to offer him the throne. And that, as briefly as I can put it, is how James VI of Scotland became James I of England when Elizabeth died. Well, I hope that helps explain the situation to you a little bit. More to come another time. Bye for now.